before we got out of here, man. There's been a lot of interesting conversations when it comes to, this whole Young Thug and Gunna YSL situation. And I think one of the more interesting parts of this conversation is lyrics from rap songs being used in the court of law. And first of all, off top, how do you feel about that? Because I know that Jay Z and a few others, I want to say Meek Mill, they have been really pushing for how unlawful and unfair they think that notion is.
You want to know what my senior exit essay paper was on in high school, Mike?
What's that?
Censorship in music. And how there was a time, people need to understand this, when I was graduating from high school in 1999, what I had seen take place in the 90s was actually a place and a space creatively where the rappers actually weren't free to speak as freely as they wanted to without there being vitriol and issues behind it. My senior exit paper in high school for West Charlotte was about censorship in music. And so this is something that I've actually always monitored on a personal level in terms of what is allowed and what is not allowed. I have been one of those people, obviously, as somebody that's been a writer my whole life and that used to be an MC and that's a lover of the arts, that really believes in the full freedom of expression. I say a lot of things in jest, even about Kendrick. I am very aware of his full scope of brilliance as an artist. Okay, because he's an artist even beyond music in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But this is where the floodgates being open, and I'm not saying this to be funny because people know me for saying this. This is where things not being censored become very fucking problematic, and I'm not joking at all. The shit a problem.
Because, well, is it a censorship thing or is it more of
censorship doesn't exist anymore? Here's why censorship doesn't exist anymore. Censorship doesn't exist anymore because 9/11 happened. And when 9/11 happened, a lot of your rights about privacy and censorship, a lot of that shit fundamentally and legally got stripped down and taken from us, and people don't understand it. But what it does for the government, specifically the law enforcement side of the government, specifically people who work federal cases, Rico cases, trafficking, racketeering, drug, murder, conspiracy, gang-related cases. What it does is it gives those people in those positions who already have more resources than you can imagine. The police are the biggest fucking gang in the world. What it gives them is free bands. And when I mean free bands, what it does is it gives them the right to look and inquire and give all of your shit levity and balance because you want what? Creative, artistic license and freedom. Well, you about to get it. And here's what you about to get. You about to get them clocking everything that you did on social media and everything that you said on record. So I hope that you're happy being about whatever life it is that you were about live on social media and on record, because pretty much post 9/11, oh, that shit can get you locked all the way the fucked up.
Yeah. Well, the way that they're positioning it is the fact that it's depicting the character of the defendant, right? Or the prosecutor is, positioning it in that way. And so my question would be, from Jay-Z's standpoint, and the fact that he doesn't want these things to be used even in that light, what are the rappers? Are the rappers actually characters? Because I think what we're being sold to as consumers and what fans have always been sold is that you're giving people your life. You're giving people your experience. You're keeping it real or whatever. So, okay, if we separate those things, and we always see rappers correlate this to Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the Terminator or whatever. But no one's going to pull Arnold Schwarzenegger into trial and build his character based on the Terminator.
Well, listen, that's what I'm saying. So listen to this, because in Arnold Schwarzenegger's personal life, the worst thing that he was really doing was just fucking the nanny. Okay?
Yeah.
Like you can't go out here and like, you know, push weight, commission murder, commit conspiracy. All of these things allegedly. Like when your name gets attached to those things and you're in a sphere where you talk about those things, and when you go on social media and your friends go on social media and you display those things, did you listen? Like, okay, so people are talking about my body language when I was talking about Kendrick on Monday. You want to talk about some body language? Did you see the DA yesterday for Fulton County? When they started talking about social media, did you see the smile on her face? Like, did you see that underlying smirk? Like the smirk on her face when they were talking about social media and relationships to rappers was almost like, that's how we get you punk ass niggas. like she was almost like, yeah, oh, you didn't know, like they put this shit on broadcast and we just sit up there. Like the homie Matt was yesterday, we were talking about it. He kept sending me memes of feds taking pictures and notes. Like, yeah, like while these rappers be talking, this is how the police be.
Well, it's I think this and like, go ahead.
My dad took me to a Snoop Dogg concert once when I was, I believe, 22. The Up and Smoke tour. Remember the Up and Smoke tour?
Yeah, I remember that. Classic.
My pops took me to Lakewood, and he was in the car. My pops is a funny dude. He's from Youngstown, like it's Ohio player shit. He talked like he said, the game is to be sold, not to be told, and that's not the fucking Snoop Dogg album shit. That's real life out here. You feel me?
Well, I think too the thing that's problematic, and I think where we're going here, and maybe not problematic per se. I think that after seeing something like this, mainstream hip hop is probably gonna go away from a lot of that gang talk. You know what I mean? Like we hear it in the music all the time, and I think even last week when we had our little sidebar about R&B, and you were talking about that with Chris Brown and whatever, and it's like that's in hip hop culture real heavy in the music. And I don't think it would be a bad thing if it did go away in that, aspect, because for some people who don't really have to be living that lifestyle, they feel like they do because their favorite artist does, and it's cool. And I think from a mainstream level and on a business perspective, that's going to become one of those things that these major labels ain't going to want to put themselves next to. LP with the super chat says, these cats need to stop dry snitching on themselves. They talk about real life stuff on record, and Arnold ain't killing no dudes in real life. No, that's real. And somebody brought up, I was having a personal conversation with somebody about, not Wes Craven, but what's the other writer?
Stephen
King.
Yep.
And all the crazy stuff that he would write.
He writes sadistic, demonic, troubling, like.
Yeah. But do you not think that if some bodies popped up around him, they wouldn't bring some of those novels into question?
He needs some help. He better not ever have no smoke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
yeah, they're gonna burn his house down if there's ever some smoke.
Because they'll think it could probably lead them to something or to some sort of. I mean, that's what your art is, and that's honestly even with Kendrick. We're waiting to hear what Kendrick has to say because we want to know, what I'm saying, where he is perspective-wise and what's going on in the world and what he has to say. So I don't think you can separate the message from the messenger, if that makes any sense.
We used to live in a time, I mean, people have to understand this is like, let's go back when Tupac got locked up, okay? Got sent to Rikers, okay? We had to find out, like, through interview, like, transcripts, like, what happened in the club that night, like, when he went to court. It wasn't, like, think about it, it had happened, like, way before that. It wasn't until he got to court and transcripts even got disseminated that we even got, like, his full take on what happened, her full take, and all of that. Like, it's different now. Like, when you go live and you talk now, it's going to go everywhere. And so really what, and I hate to say it like this, like, when are black men with money going to understand that just because you have money, that don't mean shit to white people? Like, you're still a target. Like, I saw T.I.'s posts is like when they ever going to KKK, like give the Rico to the KKK.
They're not.
Well, they're not. We live in America. Don't you understand that like we're going to be like
Are you
treated
waiting on
differently?
that? I've seen that meme going
I'm
around.
tired of black Mike, I'm so serious. I'm tired of black men with money disseminating that type of information. Like they don't know what time it is. It's like, we up against it.
Well,
You
you know
know they
what?
all come and
You
get
know when
us
that's
first.
gonna happen? You know
This
when that's
country
gonna happen?
is
You know,
don't use cute ass posts like T.I. did talking about when they're gonna give the KKK the Rico. Come out and say that this country is racist and black men get taken down first. Be
well,
a
you know
fucking man
what?
about it. Don't do that cute shit.
No, I feel you. And to answer that question,
Free
when
racist.
that's going to happen is when black people control the economy and the branches of government are in all positions
How about
and
this? How about the
all
brother?
levels
But
are
how
the
about
judges and the district attorney, not the
listen to
district
what I'm about to
attorneys,
say?
but
Listen to what I'm about to say. The same way that black men leverage other things that have power and money, why don't you start leveraging that message? You get what I'm saying? Because they are obviously watching what we are saying on social media and on record. Why don't you start disseminating the oppression more instead of just popping up and doing a meme and then going to doing a comedy show? And it's like, I love T.I., but it's like, come on, fam.
well, I
It's
like Ti
like
too, and this is
don't do that
thing.
convoluted shit though. Like that this country and this society is racist, and
Well, this is
that
my
you're
take on that, and not to interrupt you, man, but this is my take on that. He has backed so many of these politicians that have sitting seats. You should be above the memes, right? Like even when the DA Fannie Willis was running, Dwight Howard's uncle, who was running, and who honestly, man, got jammed up because he fired those officers and really put pressure on those officers in that Wendy's situation, and they got him up out of there, and they got people to rally around Fannie Willis. And at that time, when all that was going on, when people were talking about how important it was to keep Howard in place, none of these guys who get behind all of these candidates were saying anything. Don't say anything now.
No, I get no. It's not. No, I'm okay with you saying something now. Say something intelligent.
Well, don't say anything like through memes.
No. Right. No. What I'm saying is that don't fan the flames. Say something truly like intelligent, insightful, impactful. Don't just throw up a meme talking about KKK ain't got the Rico. No. Speak to this with the intelligence and with the discipline that it requires in order for change to be made. And we have too many black men with money.
Sorry, man. Hold on 1 second, man. My bad. Say that again.
Well, you just have too many men in that sphere. I just didn't like the tone of it and the feel of it. It's like, no, we have to start addressing that with some intelligence, some education, and we need to start moving differently a little bit, quite frankly, too, Mike, like within the sphere of this community is like, oh yeah, like putting all that shit up like on Front Street, like isn't as cool as you said it was. Not if like the feds are literally taking pictures. Like I came on this show once and I said this like in Faith once, it's like, yo, when Kanye's talking, I feel Kanye because it's like, well, God knows everything, but like the devil is like the ops, like the feds always taking pictures. I compared the devil to the feds for a reason. You feel me? Like, is it not on our side?
People said change your ringer, man. Yeah, man. No, 100%. And I think that the stance here is the fact that I think where we need to go from here and where I hope we go from here is the fact that be an artist and express your art, and you don't have to be this, and this to be cool. You know what I mean? I think coming up, Outcast did a really good job with that, just for people that were older than me that I looked up to that weren't like super old. They were still young when they was doing their thing. They made it cool to be different and not have to be out here doing this and that. And I think what happens in hip-hop especially, I think that a certain level of street adds a certain level of coolness, at least for young people and, just for some artists in general. And when shit gets real, everybody want to be like, oh, no, you can't look at the lyrics. Like, well, it's out there, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to give you somebody that's kept all his street cred, been cool, been sexy, like been everything, and ain't lost nothing because you don't know nothing. Method Man. The game is to be sold, not to be told. Look at all the millions upon millions of dollars that he's made, and look at what his notoriety looks like. What do you know about him in the streets? Like, you don't know nothing about him in the streets except for if you can get WuTang Clan to talk about what happened early on. Keep it close. Keep it quiet. Keep it close. The game is to be sold, not to be told.
I think the other part about, when you jump in this profession as an MC and as a professional artist, you're an artist now. All that other stuff, it's got to go.
It does.
It's just it.
It does.
Especially if you want to talk about
it. And here's what people have to understand. Like, everybody got an ego. You can't get up and talk about gang shit and you fucking with the biggest gang in the world, and that's the police. And I know that firsthand. You can't, like, there's nothing that's going on
that they don't know about. Right.
I can give you specific situations that have happened to me in Fulton County where it's like, oh, no. They know everything, and it's all about what they're going to allow you to do because they know. Like, they know who you are. They know how you're moving. They know what you're doing. And I speak to that. True Life never have done anything on the scale of what's being thrown at these cats right now. And I know how Fulton County... Mike, they put a wiretap on somewhere where I worked one time about people that I was associated with. It's not a fucking game.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking game. It's not. They can do that just off the strength of that. That's what I mean about 9/11 changing thing. It's like, no. We think that this shit might be going on. It's like, oh, no, throw the wire up, tap the phone. They can just do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For public safety.
For quote unquote.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, that.
I know personally that it happens in Fulton County because it's happened to me. They still tap my phone sporadically.
Somebody in the chat was like, did you call Method Man sexy?
To women, yes. He's been. Like, he's been a lot of different things is what I'm saying. But the one thing he's never been is losing street credibility, but tied to some street shit going on that would violate his money.
You're making music, you know what I mean? At this point, you're in the entertainment world, and I know that, Thug, and I've said this on this show before, Thug's a legend, whether you like it or not, you know what I'm saying? And he's had a lot of marketing opportunities. I mean, he's been paired up with any and everybody. Elton John.
Atlanta suffers musically from, like, this happening. Like, people need to understand that, too. It's like, if you just want to keep it to the music, it's like, no. We're suffering from that.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I think that even if he gets out of this, his marketability and, certain deals and all that stuff, it diminishes. And that's unfortunate. And, again, when you're in this artist world and artist realm, you gotta leave all that other stuff behind, man, because now you have a whole nother profession.
I mean, I don't know what people know about the Rico. The Rico doesn't come unless they pretty much already got you. The Rico
they said they've been watching this since like 2015.
Like the Rico is one of those things where it's like, that's them stamping you to let everybody else know that they got you and you're probably not going anywhere except for, like, by the grace of God or, like, the best attorney in the nation.
LP says during the protest, T.I. cared about his investments. Yeah, it was pretty problematic. You know what? On that note,
we don't want to talk about that next.
On that note, man, we probably need to get up out of here, man.
Fife
before we go.
We gotta do Fife.
We gotta do Fife.
Fife is due. Yeah.
Let me pull up the album.
I feel like we've done everything but give Fife his due. Don't you feel like?
Yeah, man. I like the album, and I wish it would have come sooner. But I know that they had to put it together. I got the track list up here. Mm-hmm. What did you think about the album?
I felt like it was wonderfully put together. I mean, you got beats from Dilla, Ninth Wonder, Crisis, Ali Shaheed.
It gets no better than that, and I think it was perfect. Like the way they put it together, it fit his vibe, fit everything that he had going on. I know you said offline, like the question is like, how does this compare with Meth, Czarface? It's right there.
Mm-hmm. This was an easier listen than those two, but I would probably rank it the same as those two, which would be a 4.25. Even though this was
The
put together
production was probably better than all the other two. The
the
other
production's
two.
better than the other two.
Yeah.
Posthumously put together wonderfully. There's a lot of North Carolina influence on here, and I love that. I want to say something about my home state right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the southern states, no states blends the classic hip hop New York aesthetic into the culture better than my state as far as southern states goes.
No, that's real.
And you can hear it on this album. And, you know, Rhapsody, J. Cole, and Little Brother, I think, exemplify that. It's like, well, they all from North Carolina. But it's like, you can put them damn near anywhere on some rap shit and it works. Because that's kind of what North Carolina hip-hop rap scene is like. I just want to shout out, like, the rap scene that kind of, like, birthed me. Because I hear the North Carolina influence on this album, and Phife is talking about the North Carolina connection on this album. And it's like I told you, it's like, no. A lot of dudes from up top, they family from down there.
It's a perfect vibe.
Yeah. Kane live in Raleigh, you know.
A lot of New Yorkers, a lot of New Yorkers transport and, you know, just set up shop in Carolina.
Because it's a lot, you want to know what it is? It's the opposite of New York. It's like a lot of trees, a lot of land, a lot of space, a lot of quiet. It's slow. People don't really mess with you too much or look at you too hard. You feel me?
Let me get to Ray Rims real quick because there was something else in the email. I didn't want to leave this out. He sent the email. He said, I know today's show is going to be packed. Yes, it was. Can you brothers touch on Pusha T's statement about Jay-Z and Nas don't make good music together? Yeah, we talked about that.
Did he say that?
I guess so.
He's been watching us too.
Probably. I agree wholeheartedly. I think Sorry Not Sorry is just not a good song. And especially when you talk about, you know, what Nas was making last year on his scale.
They really don't be on no rap shit outside. Okay, so Black Republican and Success are the only songs that are just like on some rap shit.
I think they lack chemistry. And you can even hear that on the songs that they did that were actually good. Ray Rams also asked, did you brothers check out Pusha T's Drink Champs interview?
I haven't yet, but I need to.
Yeah. But yeah, Phife Dawg, man. Dope album. I think that at this point, it's probably going to rank in that yearbook that we're developing right now. And yeah, if you haven't got the 2020 and 2021 yearbook, we got it in the description where you can get on Amazon. You can get the digital version. It'll be the physical version will be at your doorstep in days.
How about this? This is one of those albums that I think is going to accentuate how great this year is about to be, because even though this album is getting like, what would you rate it?
I think maybe like a 4.25.
That's what I was thinking. So I think this is probably going to end up, because we have a lot of 4.25s because it's a special year, and I'm saying that respectfully. Yeah. This is probably going to end up being like somewhere in the 15 to 25 category in terms of rap albums, which I think is going to say a lot about this rap year.
Very good year, man.
He said the most poignant part of this album, I don't know if you caught it, when he talks about people's instinctive travels, Mike, and on the song Forever, and he brings up the fact that he only has 4 verses on the album.
Yeah, I heard that.
And that he didn't write any of those verses. That makes People's Instinctive Travels a Q-Tip solo album all the way through.
Mm-hmm. I've always said this.
So I just wanted to give you some flowers right quick, Mike, because you've always said People's Instinctive is really a Q-Tip solo album and not a Tribe album. Well, the 4 verses that Phife is talking about that he didn't write, well, we all know who wrote them. And so there's the evidence.
So Q-Tip wrote, produced that whole album.
Right. And so I want to give Q-Tip, even though we're talking about Phife and giving Phife some flowers, we got to give Q-Tip some flowers too, because that means Q-Tip literally has a solo artist. If we were just to parse it down, well, he has a 5 mic album as a solo artist, and that would be People's Instinctive.
That's crazy.
And he has 2 other 5 mic albums, in my opinion, as a group, which would be the Poet and Midnight Marauders.
Right.
You know? And quite frankly, he's one of the main contributors to one of the best songs, one of the best hip hop albums ever, which is Illmatic. All right.
Great resume.
And he productionalizes the driving force apparently behind teaching Havoc how to pattern up drums properly on the Infamous, including doing Give Up the Goods and some of the other seminal stuff on there. How many guys on the East Coast can say that shit?
I think he is the East Coast Dr. Dre, in my opinion.
Special. He is special. And that's not even getting into other stuff that he's done. Like just keeping it at the Tribe stuff and going to Illmatic and going to the Infamous. Like that's not the Busta
work
Rhymes
that he did
stuff.
with Bad Boy and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And he's done so many other things that aren't as notable and hasn't been as quantifiable. But that was one of the takeaways. He's very
quiet about it, yeah.
Right. But that was one of the takeaways from the album as well. Was like, you know, and Phife even admitted to the ego breaking up Tribe and why the last two albums don't sound good. The last two albums don't sound good about ego because guess what? Q-Tip is so great, and all Phife wants to really do is show people, hey, I'm great too. It's not just him that's great. And really, we already knew that you were great after we heard you on the Low End Theory. We just wanted y'all to keep on doing it together. They never even had to do all that. It never even had to come to that. Phife was always great. Somebody should have been giving Phife flowers sooner, or this group would have never fallen apart like that. How about that?
I agree. Ryan Gillum says, Push said that he got banned from Canada. We all know who's behind that. Yeah. Well, all right, man. I love that segment, man. I think that Phife album was super dope, and I agree. I think it's going to end up at that point of our top 20 because this year is just so heavy. And Tribe is forever too, man. Wu-Tang is forever. But what I'm learning going back and listening to Tribe over and over, it's not many people whose music has aged better than Tribe and hip-hop, man. And it's a beautiful thing.
I mean, you know, you're from here. I'm from Charlotte, but I'm raised here. I claim Atlanta just as much as I claim Charlotte. I got dual citizenship. I do not love what is happening to Outcast Legacy because here's what's happening. Tribe and Wu-Tang are doing things post their prime to show you how great they were when their prime happened and adding to their legacy. And because Andre doesn't record with Big Boy, we are not afforded that luxury. I want you to understand, even part of why I gave Black Star the 5 was because it's like, y'all haven't done an album together in 24 years and y'all sound like this together? I don't care what that person's saying about the chemistry. They are wrong. They sound
they're
great.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whoever that, I'm going to go through and read that review, and we're probably going to end up talking about it next week sometime, but
There's so much money that Outkast is leaving on the table right now. Look at what Wu-Tang is doing independently and collectively, because here's the thing, Czarface, remember Czarface meets Ghostface, that's still Wu-Tang. Matt, there's Wu on this album.
They're giving people music, man.
Purple Tape 2, how does Purple Tape 2 start off? It starts off with a Wu-Tang cut. House of Flying Daggers 2, Inspector Deck, Method Man, Raekwon, and Ghostface. That's how Purple Tape 2 sounds off. It starts off with Meth, Ghost, Ray, and Deck. Like, they have done so many things post their prime legacy to keep it up. And where Outkast really loses steam is that we have just all of that old stuff to hold on to. We don't even have anything new and fresh to make us nostalgic and appreciate the old stuff and compare it to. Because part of what makes Wu-Tang and Tribe stuff even greater is I can go back to Phife's album today. Phife's album is dope. But it's not the Low End Theory, but you know what it makes me want to do?
Yeah.
It makes me listen to the Low End Theory.
Straight up. LP says Q-Tip made old samples sound futuristic. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. All right. Well, you know what? Next time we're going to see y'all, man. It sounds like Kendrick's going to have a new album by the next time we have another episode. I'm looking forward to it. We had a lot of people in the room today. I'm sure we're going to have hella people in the room on that episode. Make sure that you subscribe to According to Hip Hop. Hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live. We're definitely going to keep people updated with the album as we're listening to it, I'm sure. But, yeah, that show's going to be lit. Ray Rims on the way out says, check out my last 2 emails. Yeah, we got you.
We got you, Ray.
All right. Signing off. Get the yearbook if you ain't got it. It's in the description. We appreciate your time. Good looking. And get some more people to subscribe because the other conversations are going to be even crazier, I'm sure.
Right.